Hey everybody, welcome to today's webinar. We're going to have a grand fun time. I have Jeff with me again today, who's going to be talking first on his changes that we've been making.
First things first, like last webinar, send Cogitate Software in the chat a question if you have them. We'll have, you can ask questions anytime. I'll read them after each section. We'll address them live, and then at the very end, we'll have an open Q&A session to discuss anything and everything, from the actual software to this terrible weather we're having today. So keep us.
No, it's nasty out.
Yeah, it's terrible. Keep us informed. Let us know what you guys are thinking. Here's today's agenda. We have a variety of things we want to get talking about. So we'll get right to it. Yes. First things first. So the release schedule. We've contacted all of our road commission customers, and one of the things that we kept hearing was that we are going, the major updates will happen sometimes without notice. So we want to get a more consistent routine going with our major releases. So we will release these major releases on the first Monday of each month. We will also host a webinar to coincide with that release date, just to discuss what is and is not going to be addressed, or what changes are being made in the update. So if this changes, you'll hear from us. If it's a different day of the month, or if we're from a development standpoint, we've got to make some changes, like we will let you know when a major update is coming. But on the first of the month, be prepared for those.
First Monday.
Yes, first Monday of the month. Be prepared for those. Bug fixes will continue as normal. No set time. Whenever they're ready, whenever the bugs are identified, we have a fix for them. We're going to send those in as normal. But for major updates and major releases, that will be on the first Monday of each month. Like I mentioned, we will also have a webinar on that day. We're going to get on a more consistent webinar schedule as well. Having webinars on those release days to showcase what's happening. Also, we're going to be doing more training webinars where we'll be discussing just general bits and pieces of our software, diving deep into various parts of what we're doing, and showcasing the fun things that we've incorporated into Pro Fund Accounting. So those will happen on the 15th of every month, or the first business day after the 15th. So for example, in November, the mid-month webinar will be on November 16th. We'll host 2 webinars that day, both on budgeting. At 10 a.m., the webinar will be for road commissions. At 2 p.m., the webinar will be for municipalities. So I will send a Zoom link shortly after this webinar is over, with the links to those webinars, as well as the webinar for the second of the month. So like I said, the first Monday of the month for November will be the second, and we will we'll have both a release and a webinar available that day. Again, this change was made to give a more consistent release feel, so that you guys can expect when major changes will happen, and you can adjust payroll and adjust things accordingly. We hope you appreciate this, and let us know if there's any other feedback that you can provide for us about this change, because we really want to make sure that we're more attuned to your needs from a weekly standpoint. So again, let me know if you have any questions about that. Secondly, you've also seen all the changes that we're making from a design standpoint, new logo, new color schemes, new lots of things, and we're going to begin incorporating that in this upcoming webinar. You're going to see those changes be made. So the icon is going to change. The icon is going to look like the thing that you will click on your home screen on your desktop will be the black and white Keystone. So we're going to call it the Keystone and Bubble Wave. You obviously recognize the Bubble Wave, but the Keystone is changing. Just an update to refresh things, make it look a little more modern. Again, none of the actual for the login screen, the splash screen, nothing is changing. Those are still going to work the same way as before. It's just going to look a little different, and hopefully it's going to look a little cleaner. So again, we appreciate any and all feedback you can provide on our new color schemes, new design. Let us know if you have any other suggestions that we can put into practice. So with all that, I'm going to turn it back over to George to get more into the weeds.
The weeds. I love it. All right, well, check your questions, see if there's any questions that popped up.
Let me check all these. All right. No big questions as of right now.
Okay.
Again, everyone, send all your questions to Cogitate Software in the chat if you have them.
Super. All right, so vendor changes. We had a little hiccup. Our federal government got crazy again and decided to make a new. I hit the screen. There we go.
Yep.
Federal government made a new 1099 form called the 1099 NEC, but actually it's not really new. It's a resurrection of an old form, but with a new twist, so that several of your normal 1099 MIS people will end up becoming 1099 NEC people. And of course, that makes our job so much easier to remember who is what and what's not. So I'm going to cover real quick in the software. And here, hopefully you can see the login screen. This is the new login screen you'll see for ProFund. And we go to payables, vendor maintenance. And taxes. So here's where we have the new tax screen. So if you, the first thing to note is that we changed the federal tax ID number to tell us what it is. So if it's a social security number, it has the right formatting. If it's an ITIN, it's got the right formatting, and if it's an EIN, it's got the right formatting. Then you tell us if there's a 1099 MISC, we'll show you the 1099 MISC. If it's 1099 NEC, we just need the name and the address. And of course, if there's not any, then normally there wouldn't be any. So let me just hit next here till I find one that looks like we had one. I don't know this database that well, so. Gotta have something here soon. There we go. Missed one. There we go. All right. So this vendor was a 1099 MIS vendor. It's basically looks like their social security number set up, and it's very possible that this person needs to switch from a 1099 MIS to a 1099 NEC. Again, I'm not sure what's what with the laws and regulations, but please be aware that this is new this year for 2020. This is how we're providing the information, the ability for our software to handle the difference. There'll be a 1099 NEC report, as just like we used to have a 1099 MIS report. Also, the 1096 total report. You'll end up having two because you have to have one for the NEC's version, and you have to have a total report that you supply for the MISC version. So all of that will be handled within the reporting modules. They're not exactly done just right now. We're working on them as we speak, but they'll be coming in probably in November. But for right now, let's get started on getting the settings for your vendors that you need, so that we wanted to get this part out as soon as possible, because the changes, you need to go through all your vendors and say, which one is which. Does this one get a 1099 MIS? Does this get a 1099 NEC? All right, so back to our PowerPoint. I'll leave any questions on that. Let's go ahead, and I'm sure there's got to be a question or two on that.
No,
awesome.
Yet.
All right. Okay, payroll calculation. This is always a stressful topic for many people. In payroll, what happened before was it was possible to have a person who had earnings. You would run the payroll calc, and those earnings would never get applied to the employee, and they just sit out there. And this would affect, of course, the 941 and the W-2s for that employee. But so what the change we're making is we're ensuring that every employee that has earnings will have some kind of a deduction code set and printed. This is in hopes to help the 941 calculation be accurate and the W-2s to be accurate. We spent now a couple of weeks this last go around on 941s with some oddball changes, and it turned out that for whatever reason one person only earned $50, and of course with $50 earnings there was no taxes really taken out of it. So we had to dig to find it. So what we did is we just at the end of payroll we turned around and said, look, we wanted to look at anybody who had posted earnings, make sure that they had something that happened in deductions so that we know that they got the check or they got the money and properly. And then also we changed the MERS benefit deduction code so that we allow it to have a place where it can supply the third deduction code. This is kind of like specific. If you don't change anything in your MERS, it'll just continue to work like it used to. But if you need it to be like penny, right to the penny, we made a way for that to happen by supplying a deduction code in a different place for the MERS, so we know what deduction code to look at when we're trying to match the amount for the MERS contribution. So those are the two payroll changes we made. I don't think I have any more detailed screen on that. All right, I'm sure there's got to be a question or two about that.
Just Robin mentioning that if we did box 7 non-employee compensation in 2019, it would be a 1099 NEC box 7 now.
There is no boxes on the NEC. The NEC only has one line at the top.
Gotcha. But no questions.
Okay. All right. Development update. Okay, this is kind of where we're heading with our development cycle. We had Jeff, call around to everybody and get some feedback on it. We were asking the question, would you rather have an Act 51 first, or the ability to do the time card entry on mobile devices? And so basically, I started with the question, not realizing that even if we did the Act 51 first, we would not have it done by the end of this year, so it'd be something for next year. And we said, well, why should we work really hard on something that really doesn't have an immediate need or won't be used for another, we would probably have it done somewhere in February, which doesn't really help much for people doing the Act 51. So we said, well, let's, right now with COVID, let's get the phone thing going so that places don't have to have, a congregation center at the end of each day for their employees to have to come in to, key in the time cards at the terminals. They'll be able to do it with their phones. So we decided to go that route for this point and put that together. We'll begin that on November 1st. And with that, we have the barcode gun going with it. I don't know if I got a different screen for that.
Yeah, that's in the end.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right, so basically that was our thinking, but we are gonna need 2 road commissions that have been using the time card app to help us, work out the kinks, if you would, in the mobile phone app. So if you've got some place where you have a whole bunch of folks who are like savvy on, we're looking for users who are kind of savvy on the mobile phone and can say, this is a bit, swing and a miss, guys. Or this is going to work well, because for us, I don't know if I'm too old. I have Jeff; he's pretty young, and he he's got thumbs that bend sideways. Mine don't, so my thumbs only go like up and down. because I'm old and I haven't developed those side to side muscles in my thumbs. We're looking for those kind of people to make sure that what we're building isn't going to be, unusable to. I mean, it's going to be unusable for me. I can tell you that, because I can barely get an email going on my phone, and even then, I'm usually sending it to the wrong person. So, it's just a matter of the generation, and of course, my eyesight's going. So it's like, what did that say on that screen? Kind of a thing.
Already have 3 volunteers. So
yeah, I bet.
Lake County, Charlevoix County, and Roscommon County, thank you very much. I'll be contacting you guys, all 3 of you guys, not just 2, all 3 of you guys, contacting you after the webinar is over.
I mean, there's going to be some things that are part of this that, are not as pleasant as it's not like, oh yes, you'll understand when we get to it. So we'll present it to you guys. Thank you for your, enthusiasm. That's helpful. But yes, so we'll be doing that. So that covers that. And then barcode scanners. Okay. Our barcode scanners are basically, we're looking at, I can hold them up again. I'll do a little bit on this, and then I'm going to get a link to you, everybody. All right, let's see if I can do this. And I'm not seeing it. I got to turn it on in Zoom. You're going to turn it on for me?
Nope.
I have to. All right. It's up here.
Oh, you have to stop sharing your screen.
Have to pause the share?
Yeah. Or actually stop sharing.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, interesting. Hi there, Alcona.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay, I'm good. I don't see it on mine.
I see that.
You see it? Okay, well, anyway, this is the barcode gun. It's kind of cool. It's got a little handle trigger. It's an Android device, 2D. So it's a fairly rugged design. A lot of cool features. It's actually a cell phone as well. So you could actually make this a cell phone. It's an Android, if you would. I think I got it right. There we go. How's that? Kind of see the screen coming up? Okay. So it's an Android device, and we just have to program it. But while we're programming the other mobile devices, this goes with it. So we'll need somebody who would want to take the responsibility of who's already got our barcode system to utilize this as we're doing the development on this. So like I said, I'll get a link to everybody. We'll send an email out with a link. I think that'd be easier, that way you can click on it. And share screen. Okay. All right. Turn off my webcam. There we go. All right. So basically, it's going to be, kind of the two in the same. We'll be doing the mobile app and the barcode app kind of the same time as we're doing this development. So we'll need someone. We're also looking for a volunteer that have our barcode system to, look at, utilizing the new one. All right. And now I think it's just Q&A, correct? No.
Yes. Oh, this was just a restatement of our webinars. So as we previously mentioned, our next webinar will be Monday, November 2nd at 10 a.m. I'll be sending the Zoom link shortly. Again, this will be demonstrating the major changes that are being made in the new update. We'll have the same format for pretty much all these update webinars. And then our mid-month webinar, as previously mentioned, like I said, are going to be on November 16th, road commissions at 10 a.m., municipalities at 2 p.m. Let me know if you have any questions or any other concerns regarding that, and I would be happy to incorporate any, just give feedback for what we should talk about, whether in an upcoming, if you want us to broach a specific topic regarding budgeting, let me know. I'm happy to incorporate that into the curriculum. And then if there's any other things you'd like us to touch on from a topic standpoint, again, please let me know. I'm more than happy to start scheduling some things and getting a little bit of a calendar going for us. So yeah, I'm your guy, GEOFF at cogitateinc.com. Or you can just respond to any of the mass emails that I'm sending, and I'll get right back to you. So thank you.
Okay, and just as an FYI, we are releasing our last major update, which just has these payroll changes I just did tomorrow. So by end of day tomorrow, we will have a new release out there that has the changes for the call log that we already covered, and the two changes. You'll see the vendor change I just showed today, and the payroll calculation changes that I've talked about. So that will happen tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Because we're finding little small issues, and we're trying to smooth out as many issues as we can before we do the release, so that it isn't something that we have to turn right around on Monday and do another release, and then Tuesday a fix for that. So we are doing a lot of testing on this one. All right. Oh, I think I went one too far. There we go.
All right.
All right.
I am open for any questions that anybody would like to ask.
All right. From Robin. So the new MERS DC deduction code will replace the current one if we want it to come out to the exact cents.
Correct. You'll need to work with Brett on the exact setting of that, but basically what we're doing is we're within the to come out to the exact cents. We're referencing the deduction code of the MERC in the benefit side. So it's because right now it's a percentage, and we just take percentage of everybody, and obviously sometimes the rounding gets a little bit tricky and we don't get the exact penny. But to get to the exact penny, we built a way to look at another to look at the other deduction code and just copy the value from that.
Robin says thank you. Anyone else have any questions? Whether it's regarding the things we talked about or just questions in general. From Abby, is the new barcode system going to be available to record fixed assets, or is it going to remain strictly for inventory?
Strictly for inventory. Again, we don't want that. We don't want the device that's going to be walking around in the inventory guy's hands to basically have a little too much power to go into fixed assets. The idea is this is just an extension of inventory for posting, so that they can walk around the field. It is a cell phone, so they'll be able to, depending on how, it isn't. You don't have to use it as a cell phone. You don't have to import a SIM card. As we ship them, they won't have a SIM card, but you can certainly purchase a SIM card to put it in and turn it into a cell phone. It has the full capabilities of that. The only thing the device has is it does have a dedicated barcode scanner attached, physically as built in as part of the unit. So that's why it's a little bit different than a normal cell phone, because it has a little red light, and you can scan a barcode and it should be in there. The system's going to be really like 900% different than what it is now. It's going to work as the current plan at least is to have it work as an attached device. So we're not going to try to do any like now it's a store. You do the work on the barcode gun, it stores it, then you dock it, and then it uploads it. We're not thinking that method on the new gun because of all the connectivity it has. Basically, the gun will always either be connected via a Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or cellular, to the, if you would, what we call our portal, and we'll be using, direct real time. So there's going to be a lot more functionality on it as well than the previous one. The previous one was just, like I said, it was just a capture device, and we're looking at this one to be a little bit more than that. So it should be exciting because, like I said, we got a full Android screen to play with. It's not, our previous one had a little teeny window that, unless you had 20/20 vision, it was really kind of difficult to, maneuver around that little screen.
Building on top of that, how long are the old guns going to work?
They'll continue to work until we have this completely, solidified at one location. So, once one location has, signed off on it and we've got the code and everything's working smoothly, then we'll turn around and we'll be providing every place that currently has the barcode system will get one of these guns sent to them by us. We are asking that you send the old guns back from your place so that we can put them in the proper. There's a Motorola, because they're Motorola device symbol or Motorola devices. They reuse them in third world countries. It's kind of a neat thing that they're doing. So we want to take those back and then we'll send those into them and they'll strip it and use it for charitable purposes. So we're just asking to send them back so that we, because the two won't work together. You won't be able to use the old and the new. Once you switch to the new, the old will then cease to function or work. So basically, like I said, once it's all put together, the upgrade plan is that we'll send one gun to everybody for free. And then from that, everybody then, you can buy more guns, they're on the market. Like I said, when we share the link, we get them off of Amazon. But basically, it's just a method of, we want to make sure that the old gun is put out because we can't really support both.
And obviously, we're only going to ask you send the guns back once you've received the new one.
Yeah, obviously, the idea is once we put out the new guns and then we get everybody up to, once everybody who currently purchased the barcode system is on the new barcode system, then we'll say, or I should say, once you've gotten the new gun, it's working fine, everything is smooth, you're enjoying it, then we'll turn around and ask that you send the old gun back. And if you don't want to, you don't have to, but it's just like I said, we're a conduit of a way for them to just be able to, use that device. They refurbish the device and then use it for third world countries. So it's kind of a neat thing that they're doing.
Cool. Assuming the best place to find the difference between the 1099 MISC and 1099 NEC is the IRS website, right?
Yeah, if you can speak the IRSEs, I'm very pleased to send you there. I guess that would be the start. That would be where I'd begin. Obviously, it's the horse's patoot. They don't really. It's kind of interesting. The documentation wrapped around both the MISC and the NEC is very vague when it comes to who goes to what. It's not crystal clear. So I think it's purposely was that way because I don't think they understood which one they wanted you to use. But after reading through it, I've gotten a decent feel from reading through those docs from the IRS that, if you pay attention to the NEC instructions because they're a little bit more direct than the 1099 MISC instructions, because the 1099 MISC instructions are still written in the are still written as though that was the only way. So they don't, it's like, yes, you put your attorneys here, and then all of a sudden the 1099 NEC says, no, attorneys go here. So, it's still kind of new, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of 1099 for dummies books that are going to be out there to make it easier for us. But the IRS would be the best place to start. And if you have questions, your auditor should be able to help you, and then they should be able to help point you on a direction. But most vendors should also be able to tell you what they fall under. And again, not everybody gets one. I mean, corporations like AT&T and Verizon and the different major, even us, even Cogitate, we don't you don't send those to us because we're C corporations and we don't apply. So that's still the case.
Another question: has there been any consideration to change the color scheme to the permission screen in the PFA payroll permissions area?
Yeah, when we go to redo the, are you talking about for the time card, the permissions for the time card? Or are you talking about?
I think it's within, yes, PFA permissions time card.
Okay, so yeah, that's all going to be redone when we do as we're doing the new mobile device. So yeah, those will get revamped and recoded for the new color schemes.
Particularly the red color.
Yeah, it's going to go away. Unless, of course, you picked red, because there is a color scheme that has red. So.
Cool. Another question from Patty. Is there a way to manually adjust the 941 to enter wages from worksheet 1? Or should that have been set up somehow?
The 941 wages from worksheet 1. I'm unfamiliar with worksheet 1 on the 941. Normally it's the summation of all of the wages that were paid during the quarter. And I'm not certain which wages. There's the FICA wages, the Social Security, the Medicare wages, and the federal wages. So which wages are we thinking? I would imagine it's probably federal you're looking at.
Patty, we'll reach. Let's see. Worksheet 1's for the qualified sick and family leave wages for COVID-19.
Yeah, that's going to have to be. We'll have to call you on that because it's a tricky little thing we got to do.
Yeah, Patty, we'll reach out to you after the webinar's over and discuss this further.
Okay. Any other questions?
It would be helpful if we could change the payroll tax deposit line in the 941.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we'll look into that. We'll also contact you and just keep you posted on that. Great. Well, any other questions, everyone? 7:38. So the reason we want to change the payroll tax deposit line in the 941 is to enter the exact amount that we've paid.
Okay, so that differs than what the summation of all the payrolls were?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. It's okay. That's interesting. I'm not certain why you'd be paying something different than what the payroll's calculated.
Yeah, we'll reach out to you.
Yeah, we'll reach out and talk about it because I'm curious now because it's like, huh? All right, no problem. We'll get there.
It's just because it's rounded. Never mind, because it's rounded. Never mind, because it's rounded.
Well, what you paid shouldn't have been rounded.
Yeah, let's talk about this afterwards, just so we can get more details from you. All right, excellent. Well, I think that's going to, unless anyone else has any other questions, we're going to wrap it up today. Thank you everyone for coming out. We are always appreciative of whoever is able to come to these webinars. And again, our hope is that these new scheduling and some new solidifying of times you can expect us to major changes to happen, webinars to happen. We hope this is going to give you guys give you guys more tools to be able to do your jobs better, and we hope that we're able to do more things for you and just continue to help make your jobs easier. So please let us know if you have any other feedback. We're going to reach out to everyone who has been in the chat, and the recording of this webinar, we're recording this through Zoom right now, and we will be posting it to YouTube later today. I'll be sending out those Zoom links to the upcoming webinars, and we will go from there.
All right, very good, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Yep, thank you.